Hello, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers midweek live. I don't feel well. I've got man flu, and we brought Andrew along with us just in case I die live on the show, which Kenny said should do because it'll be great for viewing. Yeah, I don't feel good at all, so I'll try my best to put on an exhilarating Rangers podcast for all of you. It's just so bad. Andrew, help me. How are you?
Well, I mean, I was feeling a little sorry for myself this evening. Like, came in, had a little bit of a headache. It's been a long day. I've been stressed out. And then you joined, and I suddenly feel enormously better because misery appears to just be like loved company. So I'm doing just fine, mate. Yeah.
Kenny, how are you? You well?
I'm fantastic, mate. And Andrew and I were on waiting for you, and we were talking away for about 5 minutes about all our ailments and our high blood pressure and stuff like that. And you come on and made us feel a whole lot better about ourselves, to be perfectly honest. You struggling, mate? Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that I was late, but I was too busy passing away in the corner. Man flu is serious stuff, like genuinely seriously.
Women will never understand that, mate. I have some sympathy for you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I have to give an excusal from Mr. Bet this evening. Rangers won, and it's been a positive weekend, so he didn't feel like coming on. So, yeah, he only comes along when it's negative. Not really. Chris had a bad day today. Ended up blowing his tyre. So, being the dutiful friend that I was, even feeling like this, I took him and got it all sorted, and yeah, that's what we do, isn't it? What we're going to talk about, Kenny's done the agenda tonight, so see if it's rubbish, then he's to blame. Oh, no, the other way. He's to blame, that guy up there. First question Kenny has, ask the viewer questions as we have fuck all to talk about. That's genuinely what the first thing is. Club of today postponed renewals for a week or so, sitting on recent events to do with the season tickets. Kenny, what do you make of that news?
What do I make of it? I'm not sure, mate. I found the wording of it a wee bit unusual. Interesting, though. I don't really know what you want me to say. You take me on the hop there. It was that's what I would take. Is this the events of last weekend that they're talking about, and why would that make a difference? Are people getting moved? That's kind of what it sounds a little bit like to me. So, don't know what you think yourself, but that's kind of what I thought of it.
Oh yeah, you've got to imagine, Andrew, it's got to be something to do with what went on last week, and there's obviously this SFA investigation. So the sooner they come out and blame Rangers and we can all get on with it, the better. So I'm assuming that's what the club's waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled to see what the Scottish Football Premier League's definitely independent, unbiased investigation reveals, given that they were the ones who pushed for the increased capacity, the increased away support. Definitely going to be fair and balanced, I'm sure. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, speculation is going to go on around, is this down to some of our fans being moved around internally? Is it related to perhaps the idea that there will be a limited Old Firm allocation inside Ibrox in terms of away support next season as well? Or is it going to be down to the Union Bears? It's all speculation at this point. We don't know what's going on. I think me and Kenny were hoping that you'd be able to enlighten us, Stevie. But yeah, it's interesting for sure. I mean, the fact that renewals were happening this early was, I think, unusual in the first place. So it being delayed, I don't think is anything to worry about for now. Just be interesting to see what the reasoning was behind it as and when that happens.
Well, forgive me, Andrew, if I don't have the answer in my current state. You know what I mean? Some of us.
I know you're moments away from death, Stevie. I'm aware of that. I understand there's higher priorities on your plate right now.
Listen, it's been a horrible few days as it is, but you expecting me to go and get inside information at a critical time like this, where, let's be honest, I could sneeze and pass away at any time, and you think I can just go and get you the latest Rangers news? It's just so unreasonable.
Why we have you on, Stephen?
What's that?
It's kind of why we have you on here, Stephen.
I know, but I can tell you some inside information. The Broomlow stand is ready for Saturday. People have asking in the comments. It is ready. We've had a lick of paint and some TLC. I should only imagine it's also been disinfectant from head to toe, and it'll be ready to go for Saturday for the return of Rangers versus Aberdeen. This is Kenny. Honestly, mate, this is difficult. From one fellow Baldy to another, this is a struggle, mate. Honestly. Manny Fernandez called up to the Nigerian squad as well. I'm going to take some questions. Do you have the truth about Cornelius? Yes, I do have the truth about Cornelius. I posted it yesterday. Before we get to the Manny Fernandez stuff, Derek Cornelius has not been dropped to the youth level and banished and never to play again. What's just a load of bollocks. He is training with the youth team to get after a very serious knee injury and layoff. So he is training to get back up to fitness, and then he'll return to the first team training and be available for selection. But if he can play a game or two there before moving back, that's how it will be. Anyone with a sense of brain would know that you cannot take a first team player on loan from a club and then banish him to the youth, where we don't even have a youth set up, and think that would be okay, and we would not be in line for some heavy punishment from the team that loan us, because there's clauses and all sorts of these things. So it's just a load of headline grabbing nonsense. So no, there's your truth about Derek Cornelius. He's still available. He's still a Rangers player. Is he in the first team plans at this moment in time? No, because he's just back. So yeah, that's basically where it is. Kenny, Andrew, Manny Fernandez called into the Nigerian squad. Let's oh my goodness. Let's talk about Manny Fernandez for a minute or two. He has been excellent. I thought he was great the last couple of games with Giga. The big man almost looks like he strolls through absolutely everything. And I think he's came on leaps and bounds. He's still prone, isn't he, to the odd brain fart moment. This boy's going to earn us a lot of money. A lot of money, Kenny. He's been a joy to watch. I think Giga's almost the perfect partner for him, because he sits in slightly behind him. He's got recovery speed, and they two seem to be the best partnership for this moment in time. As I always said, I hold my hands up to being wrong to this. I always thought it was John Souttar and one other, and I always thought it was John Souttar that was the one that was getting done by not having a good partner. And I've subscribed recently to the fact that perhaps John Souttar's form might be the issue. And I really like John Souttar. He's just not performing well. So it's Fernandez and Giga for me at this moment. But to get back to the Fernandez thing, he's been scouted by some big clubs, called up to Nigeria. We should be looking to hang on for him, Kenny. But if somebody comes in, I'm wanting 20 million plus for this lad. And that's before I even get to the table. And people might laugh at that, but this is a buyer's market now. Manny Fernandez stats are massive. Let's face it, he's bigger than an oak tree as well. He's got all the stature for a centre back. I'm keeping this boy if I can, and if I'm selling him, then it's 20 million before I even go to the table.
I agree. I actually think 20 million is too low. And I'm not even being funny when I say that. I think when you look at the stats, and I know everything in football now is data, and when you look at the data on Manny Fernandez, it's ridiculous. I mean, it is genuinely unbelievable. So I can understand why a number of clubs, I said to you the other night, I'd heard that there's at least half a dozen Premier League clubs down south looking at them. There's clubs in Italy, Spain, Germany, all having a proper look at them. So what becomes of that, we genuinely don't know, but we'll find out in the summer if the interest is real or not. And if the interest is real, if you're going to one of the top 5 clubs, I beg your pardon, one of the top 5 leagues in Europe these days, 25 million quid is nothing. we'll have a sell on to pay Peterborough. So I would be very much of the mind that you kind of, if the boy wants to stay, I'd be more than happy to keep him another season. I have to say, I think he's, with the nature of what we've got in the summer, which is a rebuild in the back line, completely new back four, we should perhaps be looking to keep Manny Fernandez for another season. But that begs the question, would we want to keep Nasser Giga as well? Are Wolves going to go down? Are we going to be prepared to pay the money? Would Wolves want to keep him? There's questions to be asked about our backline, and that's where I kind of see this with Manny Fernandez, that quite genuinely he's been the best centre half in the country this season. I don't think there's any doubt in that. People could point to Craig Halkett and stuff like that, but I sorry, he's not in the same bracket for me. The boy's a football player. He's catching the eye, and it's a difficult one, Stevie, because I actually think we should be keeping him, but money talks. So the more money, the better for us, and it allows us to rebuild. So we'll wait and see what happens in the summer.
I think to touch on Kenny's point as well about what we're going to need to be doing next year as well, to look ahead to that, we're going to need to rebuild this defence, because at least at the start of the season, half of it was low knees. Tav, we've still, got question marks over what his long-term future is. Sterling, again, question marks over fitness, and I don't believe that we'll be renewing Max Aaron's loan at right back. So we know that we've got Suter for another year at least, but apart from that, it's Tua Romans and Fernandez, which look quite settled. But it'd be good to keep that continuity in place and then look to the right side of the defence. And if we need to add personnel, certainly I think we need to add another centre-back if we're not renewing Giga, or if Wolves aren't willing to give us Giga. And right back, I think, needs to be addressed as well in some way, because potentially, at least on paper as things stand, we'll only have one right back available in Sterling, because Tav's out of contract and Aaron's comes to the end of his loan. So you're going to need to be doing some work on that side. That's an ideal scenario, but if someone comes in 25 million quid, then thanks, Manny. It's been real. Loved your goals and everything, but yeah, well, I'm sure we'll figure something out for that money. We'll be able to find a couple of other centre backs instead.
There's a couple of things to get at. Look, I'm just, don't shout at me. I'm not well. You can't have a go at me. There's a couple of things to go over, I think, from this Fernandez thing. And this is, we're so reactionary as a fan base, because Giga, a couple of months ago, I wouldn't have played him at all. And now we're looking at him and saying he's the ideal partner for Manny Fernandez. It probably just shows you that we are too up and down as a support base. But Giga cost Wolves 10 million, Kenny. Andrew, would you be asking them to keep him?
Personally, I don't know. I wouldn't pretend to be fully aware of the market and what that's going to give you. But if they were looking for the same kind of money back, then I'll tell you what, it doesn't seem an awful lot of money for an international centre back these days. So listen, it's a different market we're working in nowadays, and a year or two ago we were looking at centre halves at £1, £2, £3 million tops, and now we're looking at potentially buying £8, £9, £10 million players throughout the pitch. So yeah, I think I probably would. I think he's 22. Is that right, Stevie? I think he is. He's got 13, 14 years left in the game as a centre half. So you're getting him before he hits his prime. And if he's happy here, then that's what you would look at. But you know what the boy wants to do, obviously. But you could do worse, I think. That's what I would say. If you look at that centre half partnership, it's big. It's got recovery pace. It's tactically aware, and yeah, they're both young and they're both making mistakes. But you would expect those mistakes over the next year or so to get eradicated to the point where they're very infrequent. every player's going to make mistakes, obviously, but when you see the two of them together, they do blend very, very well. As you say, it allows Manny to come forward, and if anything does happen, you see Jiga's recovery pace, and he's in there behind them and sweeping up. And yeah, I think I probably would be quite happy to keep Nasser Jiga.
Wondering, I think some of it depends on where Wolves end up next season as well. But for me, I think trying to push for a loan, I don't know if they because they only bought him this season. 10 million quid, as Kenny says. He's under contract, and he's had a 5-year contract as well. So he's under contract till 2030. So he's not going to be leaving Wolves anytime soon unless it's for a substantial chunk of money. They're going to at least want to make their money back on him, if not more. And that's a fairly big ask for us. So I don't know if buying him would be the move. For me, I think I'd be pushing for a loan, because I think the more continuity in that back line you can get, certainly if it's an area of the pitch that we don't have to rip up and start all over again, which it feels like we have to do every summer, I'd really like to avoid that. But yeah, my focus is about getting as strong a team on the pitch as possible. That's something that's working right now. I'd be keen to keep it as much as possible. It's a question of, as Jock 1007 says there, if he can keep this run of form going as well. So far, he's been the most consistent partner that Manny Fernandez has had. I don't know if that's just down to seeing Suter come in and immediately terrify not only us, but every player around him as well. So yeah, for me, I'd be trying to keep him for another season, whether on loan or if, Wolves have a meltdown and, forget that he's ours, then try and steal him. But I think he's someone I'd be keen to have around the building next season, one way or the other. I think for sure.
Stephen said that could be a great pair, so I would take him on. I certainly do love a great pair, so why not? Finlay Curtis called up to the Scotland squad. We touched upon this the other day slightly, Kenny. Here's where it's going to get. I don't think any of us really wanted Finlay Curtis to go on loan, but sending him on loan to Kilmarnock is surely the right thing to do. The argument, should we have used him in the second half of the season, boys, is probably true. It's probably there. But surely a loan, if it enhances us and gets us ready for next season, Finlay Curtis at Rangers, then it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely is. I think the problem was when you were bringing Skov Olsen in, it's going to be very difficult because you've got Oliver Antman there as well. On the other side, you've got Mikey Moore and Jerry Gassama. So it means that he was down the pecking order for us. I think Danny Rule had quite openly said that it was to toughen him up a bit, basically, to find a little bit more physicality in his game, which, to be fair, it was probably right, Danny Rule, in saying that. The good thing about the loan is that he's getting game time. He's going to come back a better player, more experienced player. But frankly, without being an arse about it, his value has just soared because he's just became an international player. So, yeah, I think it's worked for both us and for Kilmarnock, because I didn't see the game at the weekend, but I heard he played very, very well. Anytime I have seen him with Kilmarnock, he looks as if he's settling in really quite nicely. And listen, that's poor Stevie. Stop moaning, mate. Get on with it. But look, it is one of those things when you look at Finlay Curtis. Could we have used him in the second half of the season? Yeah, absolutely. We could have. Because if you look at Skov Olsen at this moment in time, Oliver Antman's injury, he would have got game time on the right-hand side for us. I think there's no doubt about that. But let the boy go, prosper, and grow and become. He's still a kid. He's only 19 years of age, so he's got plenty of time with us. So good luck to him, and I hope he has a cracking end of the season and does some damage to the teams round about us in the next couple of games if he can.
I think we wouldn't be having this same kind of conversation if Skov Olsen come in and hit the ground running. if he's tearing things up on the right-hand side, then there's less of a call. And equally, Ant-Man picking up the injury when he did, obviously the second he started showing any good bit of form for us as well. I think if those two things don't happen, then I don't think anyone's that bothered about Finley Curtis, because we don't need him. I think it's only because he looks like the best option of what we have in the squad right now in terms of the right-hand side. Stevie, I mean, you made the point just before once the team had been announced against St Mirren this past weekend, that the right-hand side was the only area that concerned you. And it is a concern still, because no one's really claimed that position. And that's why it feels like the right thing for Finley to come back in and sort of claim that. And he would be a really good option for us to have. But I think you take the long view, you say that he is going to be a better player for us, either in terms of the money that he makes for us, or in terms of the quality of player that we get back, coming back to us for next year. I think the frustration is that with things being so tight in the league right now, you have the urge to want as many tools in the toolbox as possible. And he's a really valuable player to have, especially when you're chasing a game, because similar to Moore on the other side, he's direct and looks to get towards goal whenever possible. Point that got raised in the comments, though, if he is back, does Roll play him? And I think that would be the question, because I'm not sure how much Danny Roll did rate him, because even when he was available, he wasn't featuring that much. And I don't know if that's down to a personality clash or he doesn't rate him or what, but it's certainly an interesting one. Certainly, I would hope that if he comes back to us, that when he comes back to us next season, that he can feature a lot more, because I don't think another loan would suit him. He's gone out, he's got experience at the Premier League. As Kenny says, he's done some damage already to some of our title rivals. Hopefully, he continues to do that for the rest of the season. And then, comes back to us a stronger and better player. That's ultimately what any loan spell is all about.
I've got to be honest with you, boys. I'm not listening to a word you have said. I've just finished my milk as well. So this isn't good at all. Can I just say a little congratulations, please? I was at Silverburn yesterday, as I've still got eye problems. And I've got a scar on my left eyeball, which is causing me issues. So I'm not allowed to wear a contact lens or anything. So that's why when you see me last week, I was kind of closed over, but it's open now, and I'm having real problems with it. But when I was in there, I was in Boots getting a wee eye drops, and I bumped into a gentleman called Gordon with his lovely wife Laurie, and they've just had a baby Charlie, who looked absolutely splendid. Already got more hair than Kenny and I. 2 weeks old today. Can I just say a massive congratulations to Gordon and Laurie, and how lovely it was for their very kind words about the podcast. And I wish you all the very, very, very best health and happiness for young baby Charlie. So yeah, that was a really nice thing. I also got stalked by another couple in Silverburn yesterday, but I didn't catch their name, and they were concerned that I was getting upset about Jack Buckman. I don't want to talk about that. But it was nice to be stopped and nice to be spoken to by people anyway, and I really appreciate it when that happens. So thank you to them. Really, really, really appreciate it. And as I said, lovely, lovely little baby Charlie, which is also my middle name. So lovely. Let's talk about Skov Olsen, because there's been about 900 points made about him in the comments, and people want to talk about him. People are like, why isn't he playing well and everything else? Can I be honest with you? I'm going to be honest with you, because it's my show and I've muted the other two, so why not? I just think that it looks like Skov Olsen can't be arsed. I think he's lost his passion. I think he's lost his fire. He's lost his confidence. I think he's happy to be out on the wing and stay there. I think he's happy to do the basics. Keep it simple. But I think he's lost that. He's lost that spark. He's lost that kind of desire, or it looks like he's lost that desire, Kenny. he doesn't seem to really want it. And I want a guy that goes and expresses himself on the ball, goes to try and take players on, goes to try and take shots. He's not done that. He scored against Kilmarnock, but I don't remember Skov Olsen taking a man on. He won't take shots. He just doesn't look like he's got that vibrancy. He doesn't look like he's confidence. He doesn't have that spark, hunger. People have said that. We need more from Skov Olsen. If Skov Olsen wants to stay at Rangers Football Club, then at this moment in time, I reckon we've been getting about 30% out of him. And I think there's a hell of a lot more to come. But you can't just switch form like that. You can have a moment which might change things, which we hope he has. But he needs to get his finger out. And I think that's clear. If he wants to be here right now for £9 million, I'm not paying it. Kenny, your thoughts, please?
No, I wouldn't be paying the money for him at this minute in time.
Can I go and get some milk? Can you guys take over and talk about this? I need to
go.
We're
highly professional, Stevie. You go and get your baby milk and crack on. All right, we'll see you.
One of the first pods we ever done, you just got up in your kitchen and fucked off.
Yeah, pissed off, didn't I? Yeah.
I'm going to go and get some milk.
And I remember you two laughing at it.
I might not make it back, but if I do...
Well, if you don't, have a nice night, mate.
Thanks, boys.
So, yeah, Skov Olsen, Andrew.
Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about succession planning? Because I think we might actually lose Stevie today.
He's not well, is he? It's a wee shame for him.
Poor boy.
More issues than the Beano, that kid. But anyway, look, Skov Olsen is one of those things that Stevie said he feels as if he doesn't want it. I don't believe that, actually. I don't think any player training day in, day out just loses that hunger. I think he's got it. I think it's a confidence issue. It's the way we play, actually, I don't think necessarily suits him. I think if you're playing with, I said this a couple of weeks ago, Andrew, on another pod, that the way James Tavernier plays is not conducive to getting the best out of Skov Olsen, I don't think, because Tavernier is so central to what we do when he's playing that what he wants to do is come inside. Now, if you look at what Skov Olsen does, he wants to be on that touch, on that line, and come inside onto his left foot. So the two of them want the same space, and I think that's a difficulty. I think what he wants is somebody to overlap him so that he takes one of the, somebody takes a defender away for him to get a bit of space. I don't think Dujon Sterling necessarily wants to overlap, and I know Max Aarons doesn't want to come across the halfway line, so heaven forbid. So we're in a situation with Skov Olsen. I actually don't think we necessarily have the right balance on the right hand side to see the best of him. However, the thing about it for me is that when you look at Skov Olsen, that he is a fine football player. If you can get him at 75, 80%, 75, 80% of what he was at Bruges, then you've got a top class player. And yeah, well done, Stevie. Is that a friend's?
He looks a little chilly, doesn't he?
I'm impressed with that.
Poor boy.
And poor wee boy's feeling not well.
Genuinely, folks, before the pods, well, I mean, we were already 5 minutes late because that's when Stevie showed up. But I did say to Stevie, listen, you sound fucking awful. Take the night off and I'll host. No, I'll fight through. I'm strong, he says. We've not even made it half an hour in, and he's back with his poor woolly hat and his blanket. That's had a dream hat. What on earth were we meant to be talking about? Skov Olsen. He's not impressed. For a player who's got a £10 million buyout clause, you're expecting a lot more. And we just haven't seen it enough. I absolutely take your point, Kenny, about our style of play, the players who are going to be playing around him. But I don't think that the onus should be on us to sort that for him. he's the highly rated player here. He's the one who's got to be imposing himself. He's the one who's got to be finding a way to make things work. And he has not looked as engaged or interested, frankly, as I would like to see from
Andrew. That's exactly it. A guy in that position, he's got to demand the ball, and he's not demanding the ball at all. There should be times where you see him give me it, and he's not doing that, and he's not doing it at all. So I agree with you. I've got to say, and we're just going to have to haver for a bit till Stevie gets his shit together.
I just wanted to wish Celtic faithful 1888 a happy St. Patrick's Day. Also, I hope he treated himself to a wash. I quite like Ant-Man, and I'm not sure why. Like, he's not exactly been brilliant or anything else, but I quite like him. I don't know if it's like the Scott Wright thing, where only I can see his true greatness. But I quite like him. But I think he's better off on the left. And then I look at Mikey Moore at the moment, I think he's better off in the middle. And I look at Gassama at the moment, and I think he can't be arsed, which is a bit currently like how I feel. So would I play Ant-Man on the left, lads? That's probably... Would I play Ant-Man, Nadiri on his own with Moore in behind, and then just put a fucking cone or something out on the right-hand side? It's about as good as anyone would try out there anyway. Elijah Just from Motherwell would be exceptional, and we are interested in him for people asking. And we are interested in Manoisi as well. That was always going to be a summer kind of look at for Rangers as well, because we expect the manager will move on from Motherwell, so you might get a wee exodus. So we are looking at them. Whether we'll get them or whether we'll be able to get them, I'm not sure. But I like Ant-Man. I like him on the left-hand side as well. So that's what I would try. But let's be honest, the amount of shite I talk on here, like at some point I'm going to get something right. So yeah, lads, what do you think? I like Ant-Man. I don't know why, but I do.
I like
anybody feel free.
Yeah. I thought Andrew was about to come in there, so I went back on mute, and then he went mute. So, yeah, what I would say is on Oliver Ant-Man. Yeah, I quite like him, but he's been incredibly inconsistent as well, Stevie. That's the problem. They came back from his injury just a few weeks back there and looked very tidy. And we played him on the left-hand side, and played in the Kilmarnock game, got his goal, did very well. I think he got an assist that night as well, if I remember. He did really, really well. However, I don't know if it's just one of those absence makes the heart grow fonder type things that a guy becomes a better player when he's not available, which we tend to do quite a lot as a supporter, if you're being honest. But I'm going to be honest and just say that when he first came here, it was the Pilsen game. He was fantastic, but we haven't seen enough of him, Stevie, to turn around and say that he's the answer in any position, whether it be left or the right, because we genuinely don't know. He needs a run of games. He needs a run of 15 games or something like that. Then you can start to properly judge him. But he's not had that all season, so I find it difficult to kind of agree or disagree with you. I genuinely don't know.
I think the thing about Ant-Man is when he came back in, he did look really promising. Certainly seemed to have rediscovered the form that he had when he first came in. That famous one game that he played without Russell Martin getting his claws into him, and he looked really good. And then Russell Martin started talking to him, and his form dropped off a cliff. So I think he's a player who I think has potential. Certainly, I think that the form that he showed prior to joining us was one that was good. At the moment, it's anything other than Skov Olsen right now, because Olsen's had plenty of opportunities to demonstrate, what he offers, and it's been very little, unfortunately. So I would try anything else right now. Ant-Man's now fit and available, so I'd give it a go. See what happens. Because beyond that, then you're looking at Bayrami or, heaven forbid, Asgard. and no one wants to see that. So we've got kind of limited options in terms of what's there. It is a position that's a concern. Looping it all the way back round again. That's why folk are crying out for the return of Finlay Curtis.
Yeah, I agree, boys. Going to get some questions. Stephen says, "Good evening, Bears. Can someone please tell me about raffle tickets for the live event at Edmondson House?" Cheers, Stephen. We don't have a live event at Edmondson House. Maybe one day when we're big enough, we might, but we don't at the moment. Rangers Review do have one, and I am going to join them on stage for that one. But I don't organise these things. I just turn up, cause mayhem, give shit, hot takes, and then leave. So yeah, I can't help you with that, I'm afraid. Maybe try emailing Rangers Review or contacting Chris Jack, Joshua Barry, or somebody like that. Sorry, mate, I can't answer that for you. Why is Matondo good enough for Wales but not for us? Perhaps, David, probably because he's never, ever, ever available for us. And when he does get available for one game, he'll burst a stitch in his arse and then be out for the next 6. So, yeah. Why is Matondo good enough for Wales but not for us? Yeah. This was interesting. I quite like this from Andrew. I'm not a fan of the player trading model at all. It's just a recipe for constant team turnover. There is no way to build long-term building or success. Right, that's interesting for me because it's kind of true. But it's kind of true. See, the thing is, right, see if we get players in and they do well and then teams come in and try and sign them, then I'm quite happy for that. And if we're doing well, like if you're getting big money for players, it helps you bring in. Andrew Kavanagh spoke about Yusuf Chermiti's 8-9 million being what we should be paying for players. If we sell a guy for 30-40 million or get 30-40 million in, that's 4 or 5 really good players, 3 or 4 good players, whatever it is. And that's the way we kind of have to run because we don't have mountains of money. So I suspect that there will be more investment in the summer from Kavanagh and his team that will help us be able to spend, but we do need to find these players that we can buy and play well and manage to have interest in. Would I sell Fernandez in the summer, for example? I'm not sure I would, unless it was crazy money. So I like what he's saying here, Andrew, because I think it does make sense, and there's a point to it, definitely, Kenny.
There's a point to it, and what I would say is that this player trading model, I understand what he means. A player trading model should work where you have a core of players that aren't going to leave. That's the thing. You should have a squad where you've got 15, 16 of them that are never really effectively going to leave until they're a year or two to the end of their contract. And then what we need, if you want to have a player trading model, is a core of Scottish players that don't want to leave and never really want to leave. This is their kind of pinnacle, if you like, Rangers supporters and such. Now that's never really going to happen these days. But if you understand, that's what the ideal would be. Now, what our problem has been is that the last 3 or 4 seasons we have literally ripped it all up and started again every summer. And that's why our player trading model isn't working, because we're not giving any managers any time. We're not giving players any time. And that's the issue. It's success that we have to have. So a player trading model without success is destined to fail. We need success. And that's what I would... Are you all right there, Stevie?
Am I? I know that I'm not feeling well, but does that say Matondo is better than Gassama?
I mean, it's Andrew Stewart's alt, so yeah, I mean, probably, in his opinion, sure.
Well, that's just not true, though. I mean, Matondo's been here 4 seasons and he's not produced anything like what Gassama's done in the 6-7 months he's been here, for goodness sake. And he just hasn't. I mean, it's just a silly thing to kind of believe if you're being realistic. Rabbi Matondo's been a fucking disaster. One of the worst pound for pound signings I can ever recall at Rangers. This guy's on a fortune and just sits injured all the time, then gets a game. I mean, the last time I seen him, I think it was the Queen's Park game. And I mean, oh my goodness, we were absolutely flying till he came on, and then it all turned to shit. So I don't care. Honestly, stats my arse. Honestly, I'm not buying that at all. He's just not. I think it's just one of these things that. Listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and is that Andrew's burner account, young Andrew's burner account on here? Must be because young Andrew Stewart likes Rabbi Matondo, and I just don't see it, and I never have. But look, it's one of those things. People are entitled to their opinion, I suppose.
I think Chimiti has demonstrated more value for money than Rabbi Matondo has over the course of his career, because Chimiti's been fit for it. We've probably played the same number of games at this point, frankly. Chimiti, that Rabbi Matondo has. So I don't like. You can be the best player in the world, but if you're only fit one game out of 38, then it doesn't matter to us. We need someone who's actually available, and he's never ever available. So I love to see the accent getting commented on. It brings me back, Kenny, to the old days when folk used to guess where I was from.
I mean, imagine calling a Canadian Australian.
Ross says, Stevie, would you rather suffer this cold the rest of the season or watch Matondo on the left for the rest of the season? I wouldn't be given the option to watch Rabbi on the left for the rest of the season, as he would play one game, be sensational, and then be out for the rest of the season. So, yeah, I miss Ross. Ross used to bring chocolate-covered custard creams to the gantry. He was one of my very favourite people in the whole world. And then he left. And it's been sad ever since. I miss him.
This is like Stevie making right with the world before he expires, which he might well be doing, Kenny.
Listen, I might not make it tonight, so I don't mind in the slightest. So, yeah, nobody will miss me anyway, so it's fine. Full time at the new camp, Barcelona have narrowly beaten Newcastle 7-2. And there's no goals yet in Liverpool and Tottenham games. Braga beat Ferencváros 4-0. Southampton are beating Norwich 1-0. Yeah, that's about it, really. Okay, carry on. What do you want to talk about now?
Do you want to finish up on
I've got a question for you both. How would you spark this attack into life for the end of the season? What are you going to do?
Drugs.
To fix it?
Lots of drugs. It seems like, honestly, I'm kind of out of ideas at this point. I mean, we've tried playing them with one up top. We've tried playing two up top. We've tried different combinations of midfielders. We've tried different number 10s. We've even tried Staunch Stormer, and nothing appears to have worked for these guys. So drugs, I think, is the only option.
I don't think drugs work. I've been taking flu stuff like Smarties today, and I just feel worse. Chris made me do loads of work today as well. He made me do like the rota for the next 5 weeks, and he said it'll take you half an hour, and I was there for like almost 2 hours, and I could see him looking across on me in the desk thinking, I've employed such an absolute tit. And he's right, but this is the problem now, 6 months in, like people are starting to figure it out, Andrew. So yeah, I want to know how you're going to fix this Rangers attack for the rest of the season.
I saw some of the work that Chris had you doing today, watching his car get its tyre changed because Chris wasn't capable of doing so.
No, like
so you had poor you standing in the cold with your flu, dying.
Do you know the best thing about this today is Chris broke down outside the RAC, right outside the office, and it took them 6 hours to get to him, and he broke down outside of it. That was the best thing I've ever heard. And when the guy came to fix us, he said, I'm sorry, I had to travel for ages. And then when he finished, he basically drove over the road and went into the office.
Believe it, Stevie, Andrew and I have seen it on his chat all day, and it's been really funny. He's not been a happy camper. How would I fix this? Joey Barton's coffee machine. There you go. I don't know. We've discussed this a few times, Stevie, and I do feel that we have to spark it into life. We have to find a way of creating much more, opportunities than we have of late, because we're a little bit powder puff. And personally, I would look at it and say that what we need to do is get more bodies into the box. How to do that is, if you're being blunt about it, if you look at us over the last few weeks of late, we've been really slow and cumbersome in the build-up, and we need to be quicker. We need to be more direct in terms of the passing, more at it in terms of the passing, not necessarily direct. We need to be do it quicker, more one-touch stuff, and get the ball wide and get to the byline. That's what we're not doing at the minute. So is that because of the wingers? I don't know. I think a lot of it could be that. However, I don't think the two up front is necessarily working as well as we had hoped it would. I'm like you. I would actually probably be inclined to play with one striker, Mikey Moore in behind, get Gassama on the left, and stick with Skov Olsen. And if it doesn't work for an hour, give Ant-Man a shot and flip the right-hand side. But that I think we need that continuity in the running. But then if we get that continuity and they're not scoring, then you're going to change it, aren't you? So it's really difficult at the moment, because I do think that the majority of our issues lie in that front four.
Yeah, the attack has looked toothless for far too many games. When our left back's the one who's contributing in attacking play in the last game, and that's the best opportunity you've kind of had, then that tells it all. I'd like to see Miovski get a bit more of a chance, just to see if he can do anything else, because he's not, I think, had much of a fair shout, although he's not really demonstrated why he should have a fair shout when he has come on. But it needs something done to it, because it's the old thing. It's madness. You keep doing the same things over and over again, you're going to get the same results. You can't be surprised if you don't. So something has to change there.
Something has to change. Who said you don't get hot takes on Four Lads Had a Dream? Something does have to change, that's for sure. And the funny thing is, I would have said playing two up front is the way to go. But you know what? See, since I've started watching Chermiti and Nadiri, Chris said to me Nadiri reminds him of a really young Kenny Miller, where he's got really good qualities. He just needs to kind of fit it all together. Maybe he's got a point there. But he comes so deep and he does so much work, and he's never really... I just think that the two of them haven't connected at all. Chermiti's just a wee wandering, fucking looking at the grass, wherever he wants to go. Nadiri's trying to do well. Would people stop suggesting putting Tav as right wing? Stop it, Laura. Stop it. Member or not, stop. He cannot... Look, did anyone see the end of the game on Sunday when the boy went past Tav like he wasn't even there on the left wing for St Mirren? Why would we then put him on the right wing for us when he's lost his legs, Laura? So, and Baron, Loyal, Nadiri and Miovski is a combo. I think we've already proved that you don't get a say this evening either with your Matondo stuff, son. So Miovski's... See, this is the issue. Nobody's really done anything. Nobody's really given them... Like, there's no first choice, is there, Kenny? Like, nobody's really been outstanding anywhere. And honestly, like, as much as I like Tav, and I really do, I like the skip, he's not a right winger for me. Chermiti, I just can't take to him in the slightest. Nadiri I like, but he's too busy on the halfway line, which is a big bugbear of mine. They don't play close enough. Mikey Moore's got lots of endeavour, but he doesn't create enough. Ant-Man's injured again. Hamstring issues, although I'd like to see him play. Bayrami, I don't know what happened to him. Looked okay at Livingston, haven't seen him since. Skov Olsen just looks like he can't be arsed. So there's no answer here, boys, that you can immediately say. It's not like Walter's Day where you say, like, it's time to bring in Novo. or time to get Lafferty in, or even when Gerrard was here, when you say it's time for Matondo, Jesus, it's time for Morelos to get a rest and Defoe to come in, or even call on fourth place Cedric Itten. We don't have that quality. So that's because, believe it or not, and I'll go back to, I don't care what people say, honestly, I really don't. In my opinion, I think our midfield's good. I really do. I like Raskin and Chukwani. Everyone moans about Raskin. He's the only one that tries to go forward. He's the only one that tries to make those passes. Everyone says that he's been shite for months and all that. Go and watch these games, because he's controlled the midfield the last couple of games. Completely controlled it. Been in control the whole time. And he's not what people want to make him. And that's the thing. Raskin's a defensive midfielder. He's so like Chukwani. He's so like Barron. He's so like Diomande. There's a reason no manager will take him out of his team. And I just think our midfield's fine. The problem is that all our players are just the same. They're just the same as everything. And it's just four midfielders the same, wingers who are all the same, strikers who do the same job, deep line forwards. We need something different. We need a spark from somewhere. A spark that Novo would give you, Lafferty would give you, Velichka would even give you. At times in the run-in, and we've not got that. So we need to Russell Martin. Kenny put Russell Martin quotes as well. We were to talk. I'm not talking about Russell Martin. Doesn't deserve to be talked about. So we're not talking about Russell Martin. Nadiri would be better as a lone striker, according to Blue Nose John. Possibly. Could you tell Nadiri just to stick right up as the number 9 and get players around him? Woodmore as a 10 being able to go over and help Skov Olsen? Would that be better? Asgard would have been that spark if he got his finger out. Yeah, and that's not possible, is it, though, Rangers, man? So how do you think, boys? Is there anything we can do? Well, but there is stuff we can. Listen, I don't mean that's it. We're 3 points behind. We're right in this. We're in the hunt. We're going to win the league. Let's be positive. I won't see it because I'll be dying, but we're going to win the league, and it's just how do we figure out to do it? And I hope, Dan, we need to do something different.
That's 2 days and or 2 pods in the bounce, mate. You've went on a wee rant. You started by asking a question and then answered every available question that you could. So on Nadiri, I understand what Chris was saying about him, similar to a young Kenny Miller. The only issue I would say about that is if you look back and what Dick Advocat did with Kenny Miller, he played him as a secondary 9 or a 10, effectively, for the first wee while that he was at Ibrox. Then you could look at what our issues are in midfield, which you were talking about. Our issues in midfield are that they are all very, very similar. They're all quite similar. We need a ball carrier. We also need an actual playmaker, somebody that is creative in there. I don't believe any of them are creative enough. I think there's a reason why when you look at the last 3 or 4 managers, 5 managers, whatever the hell it is, nobody is taking Nico Raskin out their team very often. On the situation up front, I'll stick with what I've said already, Stevie, that we do have to find a balance up there. We do have to kind of find a way for the flanks, if you like, the fullbacks and the wingers to get to the byline. That is important. That to me suggests what we need is bodies further up the pitch, which suggests again to me that the midfielders aren't quite far enough up the pitch a lot of the time. Nico Raskin will be up the pitch, but you won't see Chukwani or Conor Barron or Diomande. You don't want further up the pitch anyway. You can't shoot for toffee, so you don't really want him there. But the answer is for Danny Rule to find, mate, not for us. And that would be my kind of, my concern about it, is that we're running out of games, Stevie. We need to find a way, because if we don't get a couple of games in the next 2 or 3 where we're a couple up and coasting, our nerves are going to be shredded. Our hearts are going to be pounding for 90 minutes constantly, because we seen it last week on Sunday there that, I mean, we absolutely coasted the game, but honestly, I was absolutely bricking myself for the last 10 minutes. All it takes is one team to get one opportunity, bury it, and we're dropped 2 points. And we're now at a stage where we genuinely can't do that. So we have to be much more authoritative up front. And I think a lot of it is down to the fact that Danny Rule doesn't actually know what his best strike line is, his front line is. I genuinely don't. I think that's why you're seeing Gassama on the right or Gassama on the left. You're seeing Mikey Moore in two different positions. We've seen one up top, two up top. We're seeing different combinations all the time, mate. And he just needs to get one and stick with it, I would suggest.
I think this is a fantastic comment by Doddington. Our biggest issue is we haven't really got anyone who plays 2 or 3 really good games in a row. Spot on, mate. You win the podcast. Andrew?
Yep. I mean, it was one of the worst Rangers teams. We said that at the start of the season after we'd seen them play for 8-9 games. We've only added 4 players and only 2 of them, one of them, realistically, you would say has come in and hit the ground running and looked really positive for us. So, yeah, it's not a good squad. The fact that we're still competitive, like we're only 3 points behind the league, like top of the league, I think is a mark of how poor the rest of the league has been around us. So it's not a good squad. But hook by crook, we have to find a way to win. I don't think there's an answer because, as folk have said, we don't have enough players who actually play consistently well. Or we don't have enough of those types of players. Certainly none in the front line, realistically. Even Mikey Moore has had off games. So there's no answer here, unfortunately, beyond throw shit at the wall and pray that enough of it sticks to get us over the line here. It's kind of where we're at, unfortunately.
Yeah, like 57 minutes, we've done enough. Made it. What a show. Final question, Rangers man. Question to all 3 of you. Is Danny too much of a tinkerer? No, he's not. I'm going to answer it. Danny Rule is one of the finest gentlemen in all the land. And I like him a lot. And he's up there with Nico Raskin, Jack Butland, and whoever else I feel like defending on my podcast. So I reserve the right to change that match by match. On Saturday, if we don't win, of course, he's too much of a tinkerer and we should get rid, etc., etc. But until then, Danny Rule is my favourite person. He's currently my favourite Rangers head coach. So, yep, he's definitely the best one at Ibrox currently. That's all I've got to say about it. Thanks, boys. I'm sure everything you said was great. Well done, Andrew. Really appreciated it.
Stevie, it's been a pleasure to be here at your last ever podcast because I'm expecting you to go off and die immediately after this one. But you've been very brave. You've soldiered through. And I hope and know, in fact, the audience all definitely appreciate it. If nothing else, they've certainly been entertained by it. So thank you and always a pleasure. And nice to be back on with you two as well for a change. It's been very nice.
Thank you, Kenneth. You're my very favourite person called Kenneth. Thank you, buddy.
Cheers, Stephen. Don't really know how to take that. I think I'll take it as a compliment or something. We should call this the one with the Friends duvet, shouldn't we? If you know, you know in that one. And yeah, nice to be back podding with you, Andrew. You and I go back a long time. Don't see you much these days because you're on a Friday and we can't be asked coming on a Friday. But Stevie says he's busy on a Friday. He's not. Just can't be asked. But no, thoroughly enjoyed that, lads. And Stevie, if nothing else, you've given us a right good laugh. Drunk on cold capsules, mate. It looks quite funny.
Heartbroken and got the cold. That's all you need in life. I really can be arsed coming on a Friday night. Friday night is the night that I've got my children. So I spend my time with my children on Friday night. I now have to go and drive home. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I sneezed a lot today when I was driving. So that wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant at all. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Thanks everybody for joining us on the pod this evening. Thanks for everybody in the comments. thanks for everybody who's liked and subscribed. If you haven't, please do, because it really helps us grow. Huge thanks to all our sponsors: Rhino Express, Clyde Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solution, CSD Air Conditioning, Candid, and our Sunday sponsors, rydc.co.uk. See if you want to sponsor Four Lads. See if you've got a thriving business out there, please get in contact with us, because more or less all those sponsors are coming to an end at the end of the season, and we thank them massively. We put all our money back into Rangers, as you'll see with the advertising, which costs I think £5,000 a year. It's obviously not going to be my problem. It'll be Kenny and Andrew's, because I'll not make it. But we would like to continue that. So if you own a wee business out there and you want to help us, your sponsorship money would go a long way to helping us do that. And I'll get some good cold and flu capsules as well. Andrew will be back on Friday night. He's here with Calvin, I think.
That's correct.
Yeah, and then on Saturday it's me and Sheza from the gantry. So we'll be here. She'll be there. I might not make it, but anyway, go and enjoy the football. I think somebody said Liverpool are winning 1-0. Let's just have a check on that before we go. Bayern Munich are beating Atlanta 1-0. Liverpool are beating Galatasaray 1-0. Tottenham are beating Madrid 1-0. That must be a mistake. Southampton are still beating Norwich 1-0. So yeah, go and enjoy your night, folks. And it's been a real pleasure. It's been a real pleasure. No one died of lady flu. This is man flu, mate. Anyway, right. See you later.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.